Okay. Good day, everyone, and welcome to today's class. And please, can you confirm if you can hear me and you can see my screen as well?
Yes, good evening, sir. I
Good
can
evening.
hear you.
All right. Thanks so much. Can you see my screen as well?
Yes.
All right. Thanks. So, good day, everyone, and welcome to today's class. My name is Inyada Abdulwasiu, and I'm the lead lecturer for Management Words Accounting. I'll also be joined by my colleague, who will also be coming in at some point in time to take some courses within this subject. So I welcome you all. I don't know, maybe some of us you have experience of these courses, this subject before, or you're just starting it for the word for the first time. So in regardless of whether you have some generic knowledge or this is just our first time, or maybe some of us we are from non-accounting background, or let me even say maybe not even social science or management science, maybe during our undergraduate. So it's not that word, it's not that difficult, but you just need to try as much as possible to be open-minded and see different question in different way. So maybe we solve a certain question now, this on this direction. You may see another question that was the direction may not be the same. So try as much as possible to be open-minded and try as much as possible as well. And I'm begging you from the beginning now, in terms of what? Try as much as possible to ask questions. And it's not about some time, it's not about the speed, but it's about the progress in terms of what we know, what we have talked about. So at any point in time, just try as much as possible to ask questions because this particular subject can be what it can be somehow sometime. And so let me just put it that way. So, but one of the things that you can try as much as possible to do for me is to what? Is to ask questions when things is not what, when things is not clear. The purpose of joining a live class is not see if you can have other source of work, learning that information. But one of the beauties of you not reading it alone is just for us to work, is the ability for you to ask questions when something is not work, when something is not clear. So just have that at the back of your mind that I'll try my possible best to make it to make it very easy for you. But one of the things that we can also do is to ask questions. Okay? And I pray that God will make it easy. So this is what management accounting in terms of what there are different types of work, there are different types of accounting, or let me even say branches of accounting. So this is one, this is management accounting. We also have another one at this level called what? Financial accounting. And I think before the end of today's class, we will be looking at what is the difference between the two, especially at this level. There's one management accounting. There's another one financial accounting. So what's the key difference among the two that you are doing at this one at this level? So we'll be looking at that today as well. So before we start with, I think what we have today, which is just about what introduction. So I also like to do a general overview of the word of the entire subject, just a brief overview, not really intensive so that you know some of the things that we are going to be talking about. And it's a long journey, at least everything, which you're able to end everything by, let's say, October. I think your exam is in what is in November. So the journey is a little it's still far, but we are starting today. So these are some of the words. At this level, it is management accounting. So by the time you move to the next level, there are some things that you are learning here that will also be benefit to you when you get to the skills level, which is on performance management and some area of financial management. So some of the things that you have the knowledge here, you continue it when you get to so skills level, which is what performance management. So our syllabus is divided into what? It's divided into 6 level. And another thing that I also need to make mention, please, at any point in time, in case you have words, in case you have anything, you have any question, you have any observation, Just try as much as possible to what you can raise up your hand. You can also what put the question in the chat box. Okay, so please, and another thing that I will also please ask for, I'm begging every one of us so that we're able to enjoy the classes. Please be mindful of your word, be mindful of your mic. If you are not saying anything, just try as much as possible to what to please mute yourself so that we are not going to disturb our colleague. And if you have any question at any time, just raise up your hand or you can put it in the words in the chat box. I'm going to pick it up. Okay, so thank you so much. So that's just the housekeeping. So our syllabus is divided into what six. We have what we call the management information. We have the word accounting for cost element. We have costing method and technique. We have forecasting budget and budgetary control. We also have what we call the standard costing and variance analysis. And the last part is what? Performance measurement. So these are the words. These are the classification of what? Of our syllabus. The first aspect, which carries 15% of the words, 15% of the entire syllabus is the management information. Then the next one is the element of cost, then followed by costing method and technique. We have forecasting, budgeting, and budgetary control. We also have standard costing and variance analysis. And we also have what we call performance measurement. So don't worry, I think I will share I will share everything. You're going to have access to it, okay? And please, I will try as much as possible to make this particular subject not just from exam point of view, but also from the practical aspect of it, because majority of my work now, I currently work within FP&A, and I work as a management accountant. So some of the things that I'm saying on maybe Saturday and Sunday is also what I will do tomorrow in my Monday to Friday. So I'll try as much as possible to give you some words, show you some of the data that we use in the real life, so that it will also aid your understanding in terms of some of the things that we are talking about in class. They are real, to be honest with you. It's not as if it's just for it's just for learning, or it's just to pass the exam. This particular aspect, because I'm telling you from the beginning now, I work as a management accountant currently, and this is what I'm doing. Okay, so let's go. So in the first section of the syllabus, which is management information, and that is the area that I'm going to be talking about today. So let me just leave that and go to syllabus section B. So in syllabus section B, we have what we call it elements of cost. And there are three elements of cost. That's what we call material. If you don't call it material, we can call it inventory. Then the next one you can see is labor. And we also have what we call overhead. We have labor, we have overhead, and we also have material. You can call it material, or you can call it inventory. So let me stick with what you have in your syllabus, which is inventory. So we have inventory, we have labor, and we also have what we call an overhead. And please, just give me some few seconds. Let me get my graphics tab. And to be honest, I don't know where it is, not sure, but I pray I'll say it. So just hold on, give me some few seconds, please. So I think, sorry, let me share my screen back. So where we go. Okay. So we have what we call element of cost. And when we say element of cost, this is what I'm referring to. Let's say, for example, now, and one thing I want us to have at the back of our mind, majority of some of the things that we are going to be talking about now, it relates to what a manufacturing environment mostly is what is in a production environment. Most of the things that we are going to be talking about relate to what to production environment, not really what service environment. Although we're also going to be talking about service environment, but majority of the time, it is going to be about what production. So let's say, for example, now we are talking about what element of cost. Element of cost. We say we have what three elements of cost. One, we have what inventory. We have labor. And we have what overhead. So these are the words, these are the three elements of cost. Let's say, for example, like a cost. I'm saying, for example, oh, I produce this particular item for, it cost me 1 unit. Let's say it cost me what 200. And let's say, for example, let me use a manufacturing organization that I'm familiar with. Evans. Maybe some of us that we are in Lagos. Evans is in what? Is in Ogba. And they produce this soap. That's like they have different types. Like, okay, let me do a screenshot of this. So this is a word now. This is a product. This is a word. This is a product. So let's not say, for example, this particular word, however, the carrot, let's say it costs Evans, it costs them 200 naira to produce. Let's say both of them, both the words, buyer, papaya, everything, it costs them 200. This one too is 200. This one too is also what 200. And this one also is also what 200. So this is the cost. So meaning that for 1 unit of this hour, it costs Evans 200 naira to produce. So when we are now saying what now, element of cost, it means that, the total cost is what now? The total cost is 200. This 200 now, which is the total cost of what? That is the cost per unit, the cost of one. So we are now saying that, oh, it comprises of three things. It comprises of what? Inventory. It comprises of what? Labor. And it comprises of what? Overhead. So when we say element of cost, oh, the total cost is what? Don't worry, I'll bring it down to your level. The total cost is what? Is 200 for 1 unit. So the 200, it means that, oh, it's comprised of three things. Inventory is there because you see on some of these like for example, you can even see carrots now. So this carrot, there's a cost attached to it. Abi? Oh, okay, there's another one that is, this one is orange now. So for the orange, there's a cost attached to it for you getting the orange. So let's say the cost of you getting the carrot, because the carrot is the what is the inventory. So let's say, for example, the carrot costs you what? Let's say inventory is usually very that high. Let's say the carrot is 100 naira. Let's say you pay the labor 60, or let's say 70 naira, and the overhead is what? Is 30 naira. So everything is what now? Is. Yeah, thank you so much. Someone says what? Okay, let's even find so at least let everybody even introduce yourself. Okay, thank you, Mr. Rufai. You're from what? From Zamfara. So please, let me also hear from that. Anybody, where are you? Just type, okay, your location. At least let's even know ourselves. That's fine. So anybody from Port Harcourt, anybody, because I'm used to the East a lot. So okay, someone should type now. Where are you currently? Or maybe, okay, thank you, Mr. Buhari from Abuja. And I is our president. Okay, I think Tinubu is not around now. I think it's in Brazil. Okay, Luis from Lagos. We have what? Esther from Ogun. Thank you so much. Sandra from what? From Delta. Well, that's fine. Worry. At least. Uh, okay. Milola from what? From Port Harcourt. Oh, that's fine. I know I was already seeing someone from Port Harcourt. So I Zoom Okoro. So Madam Khadija, you're from Lagos. Yelua from Ekiti State. Oh, that's fine. So Olamide from Lagos. Justice from what? From Niger State. Rachel from Lagos. That's fine. Anybody from Kwara here? Because my state of origin is Kwara. So Angela from Abuja. So thank you everyone. Okay, from Milaro, Ogun State. Thanks. So thank you everyone, and thanks for introducing. I appreciate that. So let's continue. So this is what we are saying. I'm using Evans as a word now as a case study. That, oh, they produce the word, these are well. And please, this is what made in Nigeria. Oh, Amaka from Port Harcourt. You can patronize them. So they produce the words, the carrots. It costs them what 200. So I can say the word, the total cost now is what? The total cost is 200. All right. So the total cost is 200. So what is when we now say total cost now? This 200 comprises of three things. The 200 comprises of what? Three things. Inventory is there, labor is there, and overhead is there. In what? In heavens, and maybe some of us you work in, you have experience of what production environment. You can see these are some of the guys. You can see this man work in the factory. Okay, look at the word the plant. There are some people that will package it. There are some people that will move it from the warehouse to the what? I'll be sorry, from the plant to the what to the warehouse. So there are labor that is working. We also have some overhead in heavens. Like, but these are what? This is carrot. Carrot is a what? It's an inventory. The labor, we are going to pay them. There are some overhead. Oh, the machine, the depreciation of the word of the machine is an overhead as an example. So please don't
Sorry
forget.
for the interruption, sir. I can't
Oh,
see,
no.
I can't see your slide. I don't know whether it is only me. I can't see the slide. I can't see you at all.
Okay. Sorry.
No, actually,
okay.
we are seeing the slide clearly.
We are seeing everything.
All right, no problem. Let me change.
All right, thank you.
Okay. All right, I'm sorry. So we are not saying that, okay, I produce what now? Please listen to me very well, and I will take it very, very slow to you guys that you understand it. Carrots, maybe how many kg? It depends. They have different carton. There are some that is 50. There are some that is what 200 that is there. So this carrot, as an example now, it costs what? Evans 200 naira to produce 1 unit. So this 200 now, and just like the example that I used earlier, oh, this one is 100 naira. This one is what? 70. This one is what? Is 30. So this is the what? The composition of that word of that 200. So that's what we refer to as what? As element of what? Element of cost. For 1 unit, it cost me what? 200 to produce that what? To produce that carrot. So when we now say inventory, I know some of us words, at least that will be very easy for you to understand. Inventory is like what? Material. The carrot that you use, the orange that you use to produce it, the labor, those that work in the factory for you. Okay, so let's not be looking at it one after the other. What is material? What is how do we compute the cost? Because I'm saying now that material is what? I'll be sorry, inventory. If I say inventory, material, please, they are the same. So it's 100 naira. So how do we How do we determine the 100 naira? I'm saying what now? Oh, labor is what now? 17 naira. How do we determine what? 17 naira. Overhead is what? 13 naira. How do we determine what? The 13 naira. I hope everything is good so far, right? So let's see. Hold on, what happened? Okay, so let me now be explaining it one after the other. So one, under inventory, they say describe the different procedure and document necessary for the following word material management action. Describe different procedure. It's two. And document. So let me first of all attend to what are the procedure when you order? What are the procedure when you purchase it, when you receive, when you store, when you issue? So the examiner expects you to have what? To have understanding of what? What are the what? They say describe different procedures. Procedure relating to what? The ordering, the purchasing, the receiving, you store and you issue. So now let me now hear from someone now. What do you think will be the procedure when you order? Order what? You order material. You order what? Inventory. I need carrot. What do you think will be the procedure? Anybody? Can anybody try? If you can raise up your hand, please. Let's say you want to buy something. And please, don't always see things in accounting. No. There's something you look at it from your own generic level. If you want to order something now, what is the procedure that you're going to follow? Anybody? Okay, Aisha, please unmute yourself. Go ahead, please. Aisha, yes.
Hello.
Unmute yourself. Yes, I can hear you. Yes,
okay.
I can hear you.
If you want to order something, I think the first thing you first check your store if you have the quantity you have in your store. You first check the quantity you have in your store.
Thank you so much.
If it requires more, then you try to calculate, okay, probably how much you need for a particular period of time. Then I don't know. I guess you order.
Yeah, thank you so much. At least you give us one very important term. The first thing you say you check your store. And Perry, your hand is up. Please, can you unmute yourself? Thanks so much. What do you think is will be the process that you want to buy something now?
Okay, good evening, sir.
Good evening, Mark. Go ahead, please.
Okay, you want to buy something? Yeah, like Aisha said, the first thing you know the amount of stuff you want to buy, but you also have to know the particular item you need because in your store you have different items, so you need to identify the particular one you need prior to other ones.
Yeah, thank you so much. Someone is what? Please, I would like you guys to please always rename yourself because I have someone hand which is Hall where it's just C. Please, can you just please, can you unmute yourself?
Hello.
Yes, go ahead, please.
All right. Okay. From the question you asked.
Can you hear me?
Okay. Yeah. Okay, let's continue. Then you come. Let's see.
Okay. So before you place an order of something, as Aisha have said earlier, you know the quantity of what you want, and then the next you have to know, the cost of how much it's going to cost you, and then you place the order. I think it has to do with knowing how long it's going to take for you to get the order. The days, number of days.
Yeah, we'll talk about her. Yes, yeah, thanks so much. Thanks so much. At least you make mention of what someone make mention of the quantity, someone make mention of the word, the item, then you make mention of the word of the cost now. See, please, can you mute yourself, please?
Okay. So I think you also consider the specification of what you need. For instance, if you're doing like the orange version, you need to check if you want like ripe oranges or unripe oranges, like specifications and details of the item to purchase.
Yeah.
And then you might also want to consider the vendor, like who am I buying from or where am I buying from? And then again, logistics.
Oh, your vendor. Yeah, thank you so much. And I think that was what Liz was trying in terms of the word, the lead time. Let me hear from someone else. Steven, your hand is up as well. What do you consider when you want to buy? Mr. Steven, please can you unmute yourself, please?
Hello, good evening, sir. Good evening, everyone.
Good evening, thanks.
Okay, when you want to place an order, just like my other colleagues have said, you first and foremost, you consider in quantity that you need for that particular purpose. Then after you have ascertained the quantity you need, then you consider the cost. How much is it going to cost you to get those material and where you can get it from? And at the same time, how long will it take for you to get those materials for the production?
All right, man. Thank you so much. So you also make mention of one, which is what? On the lead time. If you order today, when are you going to get it?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, thanks so much, sir. Harsha, let me hear from you. Your hand is up. What do you think you consider, apart from what our colleague has made mention? Okay. Esther, your hand is up as well. Other thing that you're going to consider?
Yeah, so apart from the cost, I would also consider the quality of what I'm buying. So the cost.
All right, now that's fine. I like that. You also consider the quantity. The quality of the word of the item. And is it nobody wants to buy fake now, Abby? Am I right? So in inventory management, we used to say that relate to the word, the reliability of the vendor. Because if the vendor is reliable, if it is someone that is trustworthy, he's not going to supply you a item that is not of good quality. And that is when you as an organization as well, you don't trust your vendor. That is why you still need to have a good quality control department, especially in a manufacturing setting like this. I have a little experience in Evans, whereby some of these products that you see, there's some chemical that is used. So when they place an order that, I need so item, the vendor will want to supply, then it will go to the quality control department. The quality control department will want to check it before even going to the lab. Even when it gets to the lab is still going to perform some tests on it. So thank you, everyone, and I really appreciate that. And please, I expect more of this. At this point, don't always see things don't see it from accounting perspective. Let's look at it from our own individual. I want to buy something now. What are the sum of the word? What are the sum of the things I need to consider? I need to consider how many do you need? I need to look at what item. Is it the word? Is it orange? Or is it carrot that you need? Is it papaya? Or what do you want to produce himself? I also need to consider the cost. I also consider the vendor. I also consider the lead time, that, if you order today, how many days is it going to take? Some vendor can say that, I'm going to deliver in 5 days. Some can say that, I'll deliver in 6 days. So thanks so much. That is from the purchasing side. When you want to receive, there's also another procedure that also need to be in place. And that's why I make mention earlier that once we receive it, in this particular organization I'm using as an example, it will also go to the quality control department. And that is in what? Especially in a utility sector. Let's say, for example, you are producing anything or you need certain inputs. Your vendor will not just bring that item and you send it to the factory or you send it to the production floor immediately. No, you also need to perform some tests when you receive. So I now want to ask now, what are some of the tests you feel that we should perform when you receive the what? The item. Anybody? What do you think we should do? Right now, someone should try. Now, just think of it. You receive item. Before you start using it, what do you think you should do? All right, now, Aisha. Okay, Choma, go ahead. No problem.
Okay, we will check the expiring dates.
Thank you so much. You look at the date. It's very, very important. Yeah, I like that. Aisha, let me hear from you. What do you have?
I think I wanted to check for the defects, if it's defective or not.
But... Yeah, thank you so much. You check for the word for the defect because there are some vendor that is not, they are not trustworthy. They know, the vendor know that the item is about. Maybe some of us, you have worked in the world in procurement before. There's a lot of different scenario that you see. And to be honest, people that should work in procurement, from my own experience, they should be female. Why am I saying that they should be female? Because I think they are a little bit more patient than the male. Because if you work in a procurement in especially in a manufacturing organization, and if you are not someone that is sometimes you don't need to be of you don't need to have patience with some of the vendor because some of them, they know what they are doing and they will just supply you item that is not that is different from what you order. So what else am I going to check if I receive? Anybody? I have C. Please, I want you to rename yourself so that we're not just be saying. Go ahead, please.
I don't mind. But I've checked how to even rename myself. Maybe not on this call, maybe next time.
All right, no problem.
Yeah, I think you can also check the quality of what has been delivered and also the quantity of it.
Yeah,
sometimes if it's like in liters or maybe like fuel or diesel, then if you ask for 100 liters, they can deliver 80, and if you don't know,
yeah. Thank you so much for that. And that make me you make me to remember there was a secondment that was I was involved, and what this company usually do, they usually buy diesel in advance because the organization they are in the health sector, and there are some of their words I cannot describe it. Like for example, now there are some machine. Like it's like a cold room, and in a cold room, there are some certain equipment in the health sector, especially in the hospital, that it must be at a certain temperature, and for you to maintain that temperature, there must be 100% electricity. So in advance they will order some diesel, and some of them, there's one scenario that occurred one time whereby it's like you under 500 liters. And when you check it very well, it's not up to 500 liters. And that will lead us to another thing, which is storing. The vendor can they can deliver up to 500 liters. But how sure are you that some of your personnel are not taking advantage of that storage of the diesel? Because we have a scenario whereby some of the employee of that organization, they'll go to that to the tank and try as much as possible to take out and to go and sell it. And that's what the next question I want to ask now, which is storing of the item. What are some of the control? You can see that in each of the process, there has to be some control. There has to be some certain procedure in place that I store. Oh, the vendor delivered 500 liters. We check it and it's up to 500 liters. So what are some of the control that we need to ensure that, that item will be stored? Nobody will just you will just go and you take diesel and you go. and nobody is watching. Then what are some of the controls that we also need to ensure that when you are issuing inventory out, there must also be a control in place. Control in terms of what? There has to be like what? Authorization. Oh, someone authorized it. Like for example, I can remember when I was doing my IT, this is in a marketing company. We have a contract with, I think it was Con Oil then, whereby we used to pay them in advance. So we used to pay them in advance, and the advance then was during what Jonathan regime used to be worth 500,000 then. So whereby some of our delivery vehicle, the driver will go to this filling station and they will give them some fuel. So, but before the driver will go, it will come to the finance department. So whereby we are going to give them a word, like a certain words. Maybe how do we call it then? I can't remember the name of the document. Just like an authorization document, like, oh, give this so word, plate number, so number, 50 word, 50 liter.
Like a
So
voucher?
yes, thank you so much. Like a voucher. So it is now the voucher that the driver will present to the filling station that, oh, this is my plate number, and they asked me to give you 500 what? You should take 50 liters. So there's a process like that in place when you are issuing. And this issuing as well, there has to be authorization. Authorization in terms of what? Is the driver that will fill the voucher, it will go to the head of their department. Then the head of the department will approve it. Once the head of the department approve it, then it will come to the finance. Before the finance will do the final approval, then the driver will present it to the filling station. So in each of these words, in each of these process, there are procedures that we need to maintain. There are documents that we need to maintain. Oh, let's say, for example, imagine a situation whereby how is it going to be that you didn't order for something and then deliver, the vendor deliver? How? So they also need to be a document that will authorize that, oh, it is the company that there's an authorization, there's an approval, and then we send it to the vendor for us to for him to deliver. When you deliver as well, there are some certain documents that we're also going to be talking about that need to be maintained. Okay, so when it now comes to inventory valuation, let's look about the calculation part a little bit. In inventory valuation, let me come down. When it comes to inventory, which is the first one, don't forget it's just like it was a little bit of the general overview part. So when it comes to inventory, we'll be looking at all those process. Then we'll be looking at what we call valuation. Then how do we value our inventory? And based on your syllabus, I think they make mention of FIFO. What else again? Because I don't know if they have taken something out. They also make mention of what's LIFO, yeah, and they also say what average method. Okay, so we have LIFO, and we also have what we call weighted average the weighted average cost. So these are the methods that we can use to do our valuation. When we say FIFO, FIFO means what? First in, first out. And maybe some of us, it may sound very worse, not very similar to some of us, especially maybe during our undergraduate, maybe you study business admin or some management related course. You could have come across this term before. So we have what we call FIFO, we have LIFO, and we also have weighted average method. So when we say last in, first out, last in, first out, it means that okay, let me use as an example. I receive inventory of let's say this is now, Monday. I receive inventory on Monday of, let's say, 200. On Tuesday, I receive 20. This one is received. You receive. This one is also received. Then on Wednesday now, you give out what? 10. This one is issue. So let's say we are using what now? Let me explain the first one, FIFO. If you are using FIFO, FIFO means what? First in, first out. The inventory that you receive first, be the one to go out first. So meaning now that if I'm using FIFO, first in, first out, don't forget to, first in, first out, that inventory that we receive first, when you want to give out now, you give out the word the previous days. Let's say, for example, now, I want to issue out 10 carton. I'll first of all go and take this 10 from Monday. I'll remove it from what? From Monday. So this is FIFO now. Let me explain it again. Let's say I have a supermarket now. On Monday, I receive what? 200 carton of Indomie. On Tuesday as well, I receive what? 20 carton of what? Of Indomie. Then Aisha now, you come to my store and say that, okay, what's you? I want to buy what now? I want to buy 10. So I'll first of all go and take this 10 on Wednesday now that I'm what? It's like I'm selling now. I'll go and take it from the what? From the 200 what? From the 200 carton that I receive on what? On Monday. That is under what? FIFO. First in, first out. First in, first out. Oh, I receive on what? On Tuesday. I'll be sorry, on Monday. I receive on Tuesday as well. But on Wednesday now, I'm making a sales to my customer. So this 10 carton now of what on Wednesday, I'll go and take it from what? I'll go and take it from Monday what? Inventory that you receive. Is everybody, do you understand that? Do you understand that? Let me explain it again because it's very, very important. FIFO. FIFO means what? First in, first out. First in, first out. And it means that what? Oh, I receive inventory on what? On Monday. I receive on what? On Tuesday. Then I also receive on, I make a sales now on Wednesday. So these 10, I'll go and take it from what? From the Monday inventory that you receive. So that's what we call what? First in, first out. The inventory that we receive first will be the one to what? To go out first. Inventory that we receive first will be the one to what? To go out first. So let me now ask now, someone words a perishable item, a trader of a perishable item will use what? Okay, sorry, hold on. FIFO, thanks. So LIFO, which is last in, first out, is the opposite. So if I'm using what? Last in, first out. On Wednesday now, I'm giving to what? To Aisha now. This is like what? This is like what? Purchase. This is like what? Purchase. So if I'm using what now? If I'm using LIFO, last in, first out, this 10 now, I'll offset it from what? From here. I'll go and take that 10 from the 20 carton that I receive on what? On Tuesday. How do I sign? Any comment, please? Last in from the word. Don't forget the term. Last in, first out. Last in, first out. The inventory that you received last will go out first. Oh, the inventory that I received last is what? Is on Tuesday. How many carton? 20 carton. Then there's a word now. I'm giving out to my customer now on Wednesday. So that 10 carton that I'm giving out to my customer on what? On Wednesday, I'll go and take it from the word from the 20 carton that I received from my word from my supplier on what? On Tuesday. So that's it. Okay. I say please, your hand is up. Please, can you unmute yourself, please? Thank you. Any question on that?
Okay, I want to ask for the LIFO part. What's the basis for which to use LIFO? Maybe for people I can understand that, or for perishables, you want to use what you already have. and maybe because of expiry date for some items that have expiry date. But on
Yeah.
what grounds do you get to use the last in first out principle?
Okay, that's fine. Good question. Can anybody try? When do you think we can use LIFO? When? Inventory not come out first. When? I think my brain is not working. When can we use it? Okay, someone hand is up on Esther. What? Okay, unmute yourself. When do you think we can use LIFO? When? Don't worry, I'll remember. I think someone asked question. Gift, your hand is up. Don't worry. Okay, I can ask ChatGPT for them. Esther, please. Okay, sorry, Gift, your hand is up. Please unmute yourself. What's your question, please?
Actually, mine is not a question.
Okay, that's fine. Contribute to that as well.
Yeah. I think where we can use LIFO is maybe we still have a lot of stock at let me just say it, a supermarket. We still have enough stock from the previous one that have that the date is more far than the new one. We can decide to use LIFO.
Yeah. Okay, maybe the last one that you received, the expiry date is very, very close. Then you can, and the previous one is still very, very long. Then you just push that one out. Okay, that's fine from practical perspective. Yeah, that's cool. All right. And Aisha, your hand is up. What do you have for us?
I don't know. Maybe petrol. Petrol doesn't expire, does it?
I don't think so. I mean, does petrol expire?
So I don't know. It's not stock, but it's just to fill up the tank and anything. So it's mixed up. I don't know. I'm just saying.
Yeah, at least you make mention of one point. I don't think petrol expire. Thanks. Don't worry, we'll give more example. I'll ask the word. I'll ask certain AI now to give us. But let me explain it again so that we'll get them. We'll look for another example. FIFO is that what you receive first will go out first. That's just a simple thing. FIFO, what you receive first. Oh, I receive 200 on Monday. I receive 20 on Tuesday. Then if I want to give out on word now on Wednesday and I'm using FIFO, then I'll go and take that word. I'll go and take that 10 from the 200 that I receive on word on Monday. That is on FIFO. First in, first out. First in, first out. Then the second one is the LIFO from the word last in, first out. Last in, first out. Oh, the last one that I receive is on Tuesday. So if I want to give to my customer on Wednesday now, I will take it from word. I'll take it from Tuesday. So that's what we call last in, first out. All right, so let's go. Then there's another thing that we're also going to be talking about. We're also going to be talking about that is valuation is one. Just not sit down in your notes. We'll also be talking about there's what we call what? Number 2, what we call what? Inventory control. Inventory control. Inventory control. So under inventory control is very, very easy, but it's formula based. Just need to know the formula. What is happening?
Please, I think you missed the weighted average method.
Oh, sorry. So under the weighted average, you see, the weighted average is clearly what? From the word weighted average. So it's just like, this is how we are going to do it. When I say something is average, from the generic knowledge, is like we'll have the total number, you sum everything. Oh, like you have 200, you have 20, you have 10, then you now divide it by 3. Oh, no. That is not going to be on the quantity. It's going to be on the price. So don't worry, I'll use a question to explain what weighted average. And that is the most simplest one. That it is not going to stress you at all. But what can stress you guys? But don't worry, when we get there, just try as much as possible to ask questions. Is the first two. But what I'm doing now is just for you to explain it. But we'll do the what? We'll do the computation. Don't forget, first in, first out. Inventory that you receive first will go out first. The last in, first out. The inventory that came in last will be the first one to go out. So don't worry, I'll use a question to explain what the weighted average, and we'll solve the question when we get there. So the second aspect, one of the things that we're also going to be looking about under inventory is what we call inventory control. And please, the idea of inventory control is to eliminate stock out. The idea of what inventory control is to eliminate what stock out. Stock out in terms of what? Oh, let's say for example now, I'll come to your store. Oh, I need what size 44, and you tell me that oh, size 44 is not what is not available. That's not really good. From a customer perspective, I'll see it as a what you have a poor inventory management. If I come to your store and you say that oh size 40 or size 39 is not what is not available, it's like poor inventory management. So one of the objective of inventory control is to eliminate what stock out. At any point in time, oh I need size 40. Size 40 is available. I need what 10 units. 10 units is what is available. That is a word. The objective of what inventory control. So the computational aspect, what are some of the things that we are going to be doing? What are some of the things that you'll be doing the calculation on? There's what we call reorder level. We have what we call reorder level. We have what we call what minimum level. We also have what we call what maximum level. What else again? We also have what we call EOQ. And there's another simple one. We have what we call what average level. And there's another one, but we don't used to talk about that one in management, is what we call danger level. Sometimes we call it danger level, or we call it what? Either we call it danger level, or we call it what buffer level. But it's not good. I'll explain why it is not good. So from the word reorder level, who can try? When we say something is reorder level, what do you think we are referring to? All right, now let me call the first person. Perry, please unmute yourself. When we say reorder level, what do you think we are referring to from the word reorder?
Okay, from my understanding, I would say reorder level is the level that an inventory cannot go below. Once it hit that level, then the organization should be thinking of reordering for more inventory.
No, thank you so much. Let me now come in now. You see, reorder level. Okay, let me hear from someone else. Number 2, Esther. What do you think is reorder level?
Okay, so I think reorder level is okay. For example, let's say a company actually have a measure which when their inventory goes down, they will need to order another. So when they get to that level, they have to reorder like another quantity of inventory so
All
that
right,
the
now.
continue going down.
Yeah, thank you so much. So I think from the word reorder, I think to this the two speaker, thank you so much. From the word reorder, I don't know how to explain it now. So let me use a number. Let's say for example now, I have set a system that once my inventory gets to what 200, I will call my supplier. I hope you guys are getting it. So that once it gets to 200, I'll raise an order. Now, and I want to ask one question now. I will not set my minimum level. Let's say my minimum level is now 140. My question is now, why is reorder level greater than the minimum level? Can anybody say something? Think of it very well. Perry, okay, please unmute yourself. At least you started it. You're the first speaker. Please unmute yourself. Let me hear from you. Why do you think so?
Okay, looking at the minimum level is 140 and the other level is 200. It simply goes to say that I think it takes account of the period between when a company orders for supplies and when it gets delivered. So minimum is 140, 200 reorder.
Yeah, thank you so much. Any of our colleagues want to add to that as well?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, go ahead, sir.
So I think the reason that the minimum level should be less than the order level, or what I mean is the order level should be less than the minimum level so that the company will not run out of stock.
Yeah,
For the supply.
same. Yeah, thank you so much. Okay, let me hear from another person, maybe in another way, in another English. Okay, what's number? It's Mr. Rufai, let me hear from you. Why?
So actually, sir, like what my colleague said, that's the answer that I want to maybe say it, because maybe yes, for you to avoid company being running out of the maybe stock, so you need to reorder.
Yeah, thank you so much. I appreciate it. I think
Hello,
everybody
sir.
would. Yeah, that's fine. That's fine. It's absolutely correct. So, and just like what the
Yes,
word
I
the
think that
first,
is the only reason.
yeah, that's what the first speaker and each of our everyone say. You see, the main
Yes.
reason why your reorder level should be greater than the minimum level is
Can I
because of
try?
what? Yeah. Try, see.
I don't know. Honestly, I have no clue about this. I'm just using literal English, but I feel like reorder level is
No, don't
a
worry,
red
it will
flag.
jive now. That's what I'm saying earlier. You see, that literally English, that's what I expect. Don't, and please, once again, maybe some of us you just join. Don't only see things from accounting perspective, please. Especially here. Look at it from the word on a normal generic level. That what is the meaning of reorder? What is the meaning of minimal level? So be seeing it from a word, from that normal word. Don't only see it from the accounting part, please. So go ahead. I don't if you still want to add to that.
Okay, so I think that the reorder level is like the red flag. Like, okay, we've gotten to this level and we now need to make a reorder, right? But the minimum level is it shouldn't get below this level. Like at this point, you should be beeping serious alarms that if the order that we had made initially had not come in, then we should start pursuing the vendor to ensure that it comes in quickly.
Yeah. That's it. Thank you so much. At least you paraphrase it as well. So it's just the word, the way you guys word, all the speaker, everything is word, or everything is correct. So the minimum is 140. Reorder is what? 200. And the reason why the reorder level should be greater than the minimum is because of what? Lead time. Because in inventory management, although in real life it's possible that you order today and they will deliver it today. It's possible. It's possible, Abby. I know some of us who can testify to that you order today and they will deliver. But in accounting, we don't only see it that way. And it's just like there are some things in accounting that they are still using the traditional words, the traditional knowledge in the olden day. Maybe some of us, like maybe all these Jumia, Konga, when all these e-commerce come on board, it's not usually words. Some of them they will say that, oh, if you order within, let's say 5 hours from now, they can deliver. They will tell you that, oh, we are going to deliver on this also day. I've seen it in words, like I think it was during the last week. I want to order certain item from Amazon. And he said that if I order within maybe 2 hours, it's going to deliver it on that same day. Especially maybe you use Amazon Prime. At least that one is usually very, very it's usually very, very fast. So reorder level from the word reorder is the point that you order. But the minimum is that it should not it should not go below that. Then I cannot say my words. Who cannot give me a number of maximum now? Just say something. Look at the two figures, 200, 140. What do you think maximum should be? Just unmute yourself. Say something.
100.
Sir, 400.
Okay. Let's go for 400. It's fine. I can say my words. My maximum is what is 400. So that is the maximum from the word maximum. I don't know how to explain. That's the word, the maximum that we can take. Why? Because inventory holding come with cost. If you are keeping inventory, there's a cost attached to it. And that will lead me to explain one term now called what JIT. That's what we call what just in time. We'll get there. And that's the last part. So the maximum is the word. That is the maximum I can keep in my warehouse. And once it gets to 200, I'll call the vendor. But you must make sure that you select a reliable vendor so that before this guy deliver, it will not fall below 140. Before it deliver, it will not fall below 140 because that is the word. That is your minimum. You now see what I make mention of something earlier called what danger, or we call it what buffer level. We don't used to talk about it because it's not good. Because this is management. We don't usually talk about things that is not good. So anything below what? Anything below this minimum is what we call what? Is what we call danger level. So anything below that minimum, we call it what? Danger level, but it's not good. It's not good. So when we say what average level is just your what? Your minimum plus what? Plus maximum. Then you divide it by what? You divide it by 2. Now, let me now explain what EOQ. EOQ means what? Economic order quantity. And let me say something. You see, in inventory management, we used to do some estimates. We used to say that, okay, what is your annual demand? So this is what now, which company am I using as an example? I think Evans, Abby. So this is Evans. Evans need to make an estimate of the numbers of carrots, the numbers of material that is needed for the whole year. They need to make an estimate of the numbers of material that is needed for the whole year. That is what we call annual demand. So I can say that I need carrots. There's a particular thing they used to call it noodles. So I need noodles of what? Let's say in kg. I need like 500 kg. I need material. I need like what? 500 kg. This particular principle of EOQ is not saying that it's not going to be best for you to order the whole of the whole of that 500 kg. My annual demand is what? 500 kg. For the whole year, from January to December, I will need what? 500 kg of some certain material. This EOQ, from the word economy, is not saying that it's not going to be best for you to just order this 500. It's not going to be best for you to just order what? To just order the whole of these 500 at a go. So EOQ can tell us that, maybe, the total is what is 500. EOQ can tell us that, please order, let's say 12 times in a year. Or you should order 8 times in a year. But please don't forget the goal. The goal is that we want to minimize our costs. We want to minimize our we want to reduce the we want to reduce the cost. So if you it's not going to be better. That is the idea of EOQ. It's not going to be best for you to just order the whole of 500 at a go. So now we'll get there, but I want you to write this formula in advance. The formula for EOQ is 2DCO divided by CC. So if you want to compute the EOQ, what's the formula that we are going to use? Is 2DCO divided by what? CC. That's the formula for what? For EOQ. And I want to tell you something else. EOQ is from the angles of you buying. You are buying. I'm buying the what? The 500 kg of that carrot. There's another one that we have, but that one is not in your syllabus. We call it what? EBQ. Economic what? Economic batch quantity. You see this EBQ, economic batch quantity, is from the angles of you producing. Don't forget to. EBQ, if you have time, you can read about it, but at least you can see this is your word, this is your syllabus, so that is not word. We don't talk about what EBQ in your syllabus, we only talk about what EOQ. So, but just for knowledge purpose, can someone mute yourself? So EBQ, economic batch quantity, is from the angles of you producing. You know, every organization, most of the time, they will produce in batch. Even sometimes, if you, let's say you purchase some certain item, they will inform you the batch, that this particular item is from batch, so things. So EBQ is from the angles of you what you produce. EOQ is from the angles of you what you buying. So EOQ, you say that, oh, you need 500 kg for the whole year. That is my annual demand. It's not going to be best for you to just order that 500. So that is that. And one of the, I think I forget to make mention of one thing, because this is just a brief overview of it. I make mention earlier that inventory holding come with costs. Inventory holding come with what? Cost. If you are keeping inventory, there's a cost attached to it. So we now have an approach called what? JIT. Means what? Just in time. Just in time is saying that don't keep inventory. Because inventory holding come with what? Cost. I have some of my mom friends that they are selling what? They used to sell goat when we are young then in Lagos Island. So, and if you look at their work, they are sure. If you look at how they will cross to multiply the door. No, this is padlock. This one is strong padlock. So there's one here, there's another padlock here, there's another padlock here, there's another padlock here, there's another one. But you can imagine that someone that is selling bookshop in Dosumu now. I can just use one key. But you can see where I'm coming from. That if inventory holding come with what cost? The level of padlock that someone that was it's just a word. This one is a bookshop compared to someone that is selling gold. You can see the level of padlock is not going to be the same. So JIT is saying that you should not keep inventory. As you all, we have what we call what? We have two types of what? JIT. Please note it down. There's what we call JIT production, and there's also what we call JIT purchasing. Just in time in what? Don't keep inventory. Don't what? Don't keep inventory. So we now have two types of what? JIT. There's what we call just-in-time production, and there's also what we call just-in-time purchasing. There's production, and there's also what? Purchasing. So production in terms of what? I'm only going to produce if I receive order. I'm only going to produce if I receive what? If I receive order. That is production. And purchasing is that what? I'm only going to buy if I receive order as well. So if I did not receive any order, I'm not going to buy. And if there's no any order, and for me to buy, it means that there's an order, and that is when I will produce. So these are the two types of what? Of JIT. Just in what? Just in time. And please don't forget, the principal idea of what? Of just in time is that we want to eliminate what? Inventory. We don't want to keep what? We don't want to keep inventory. I'm only going to produce If I receive order, I'm only going to buy as well if I receive order. So there are two types of work just in time. There's the production and there's also the what? The purchasing. Okay, I think that is that. How many now in inventory? So we have what now. I've made mention earlier that you have the control. I know my minimum, I know the massive one. Then another thing that you can also have, what do we call this thing? I think that's just it. Let's not go to the labor part now. We have the labor. So how do you think we should pay labor? Can anybody remember? If you want to remunerate labor, how do you think you can pay them? Just try. How do you think we can remunerate labor? And Abiba, please unmute yourself. How do you think we can remunerate labor?
With wages.
Please, can you come again, please?
Wages.
You can reduce their wage.
No. Let me repeat the question. Sorry if you didn't get it. I'm saying that how do you think we can pay? Like what basis? If I want to pay them their wages now, what basis do you think it should be attached to? Can anybody try? Terry? Khadija, do you want to say something? Okay,
By
say
hour remunerated on the amount of output.
Yeah, thank you so much. Yeah, I think you guys get it now. Yeah, so if let's say I paid labor now. I paid labor 100 naira. So this 100 naira now, it can be on someone make mention of output, yes. The more you produce, the more I'll pay you. Someone also make mention of hour. And there are some time it is also fixed. But most of the time, especially in the West, they use more of hour. Someone can work in the what now? Let's say someone work in a production floor in US. They can say that we are going to pay you, let's say $20 per hour. In the West, they use more of hours to pay their production. They pay most of the time per hour. So we are going to talk about it. We can pay per hour, which is in our syllabus. So it is just going to be there's going to be what we call a predetermined rate. A predetermined rate, I can say that I have 5 naira per hour. So meaning that if you work for 1 hour, I'm going to pay you 5 naira. So that's what we call that's the predetermined rate. So labor A, let's say A work for for 10 hours, then I'll multiply it by by 10 hours. Then B also work for this one will not be 5. So I'll just say multiply by this one work for 20 hours in a week, or let's say in 2 days. So this one is 5. So that is on the that is on the hours. The more you work, the more you pay. Let's not say, for example, now we have output base. Output base in terms of what? The more you produce, the more you earn. Output base, the more you work, the more you produce, the more you earn. That is on output base. If it is on hourly basis, the more hour you work, the more your earnings. And if it is fixed, at least to be honest with you, majority of the manufacturing in Nigeria that I've come across, they use fixed. The labor is usually fixed. If you work from what they would say that if you work for maybe the production will kick off by what? By 8, and they will close by what? By 7. So if you work from what? From that time to this, or maybe sometime they will just say from 8 to what? They usually prorate it. Some will work for, there's a particular production batch that will start by 9, and that one will end by what? Maybe 1. Then there's another one that will kick off by 1 to what? So maybe another 4 hours or 6 hours. So I don't know, maybe some of us you have in Africa, but most of the time in our country is usually what? Fixed. At least we know that, oh, Mr. A is working in our plant and it's going to earn what? 500,000. It's usually more fixed. So there's one aspect in your syllabus now, which is what? What do you think is the advantage? Don't let me ask the advantage. What do you think is the disadvantage of output based? Can anybody try? Anna, what do you think is the disadvantage of output based? That the more you produce, the more you earn. Anna.
I think that
Can I say
if
something?
the output is not if the output is not little, for instance, if it's something that takes a lot of process to get to the end, then maybe the output will not be achieved, or the quantity of output that is expected will not be achieved within the time frame that the worker is expecting. Or if your output is dependent on other parties, then there might be a slowdown to how much you can get.
So you consider that as a disadvantage as well? Of using output?
Yes, I think so.
All right, now thanks so much.
Excuse me, sir.
Okay,
Excuse
no
me,
problem.
sir.
Yes, go ahead, sir.
Hello,
Can
sir.
I say something?
All right. When we talk of the disadvantage of outputs, since the workers are being paid based on their outputs, the quality, they will not put in their best to produce as in quality things, because what they are looking for is just for them to get their pay, and they can produce as much as they can without consider. They can even compromise the quality of what they are producing.
All right, now thanks so much, Mr. Steven. You see it from the angles of quality. Now, yeah, go ahead. Let me hear from you.
Advantage. Can I
Yeah,
say
yeah.
something?
Yes, there's something on disadvantage of using output.
Okay. Disadvantage using output base. For the organization, the disadvantage is that if they keep producing and producing, they might not have enough demand for the products.
Okay,
So you see,
that's
they're
fine.
just producing.
Okay, yes, okay, that's fine. I can still take that. Okay, Zainab, I think your hand is up. Do you want to say something?
Yes, I think it would it might lead to workers not being innovative enough because they will only focus on the quantity rather than trying to get a better way of doing things.
Okay, that's fine. Thank you so much for that. What of Elizabeth? Your hand is up as well. What do you think will be the disadvantage that you are eliminating them based on the numbers that they produce? Elizabeth, do you want to say something? Okay, so that is fine, and thank you. It seems that what majority of us understand it. Let me go to the last one. What do you think is the disadvantage of what you paying on hourly? Anybody? Okay, I have some new hands off now. Is it based on hourly before I call? Okay, I think the first on the line, Elizabeth, what do you think is the disadvantage of paying labor based on hour? A work for 10 hours, B work for what? For 20 hours. What do you think is the disadvantage of using that? Anybody? Okay,
You may want to overwork yourself because you want to earn more.
all right, now that's why. Yeah, it's what is true because you know that word. Yes, to be honest, it's true because you know that what your earnings depend on your work, depend on your hours. So you just like, let me continue to work. Why? Your body cannot work. Your body cannot take it anymore. So that's fine. Let me call another person. Mobile Kano, please. So what do you have for us? What do you think is the disadvantage?
you might not necessarily produce according to standard. You just want to do it and just get paid without being careful quality, the what.
Yes, to be honest, it's true. Because you can, sometimes if it is hour, you just know that, oh, I clock in by this also what, I clock in by this also time, I clock in the morning, let's say by 8 o'clock now. I may not even be what, I may not be productive. I'll just be maybe be walking around. At least we shall know that what I clock in by what, by 8, and I clock out in what, in 5. But what do you produce? Maybe you just produce 5, or you just produce what, 10, and someone use what, 12 hours. So if there's no words, the best, we can only see the best, either using hour or using output. If there's a word, there's a control. There's someone that is monitoring. Now, oh, you can't just say you use 10 hours and you only produce you only produce 5. So having a good control is also going to be very, very important. I think I also have Mr. Rufai. Do you want to say something while I'll call Zeno? What do you think? Is there any other thing that you suggest as a disadvantage of hourly?
Actually, sir, I don't have anything to say. But what I want to say is just like the opposite. To avoid being idle. That's like idle time.
Yeah. Thanks so much. Yeah, we're also going to be looking at what. That's another area that we'll also be looking at. We'll be looking at idle time.
Yes.
Because idle time is unproductive. It's unproductive hour. Zainab, do you want to add anything to that as well while we go?
Yes, I believe it will make it in a way that you won't be able to predict your income at the end of the month, like your
Yeah. Yes, it's true. Because if someone is sick and you need to work for that certain, yes, it's true. It's true. Especially if there's a word, if there's a, let's say there are some things that is what, there's a machine downtime. Now the machine is not working anymore, and someone is not doing anything. As a result of that, it may affect your earnings, and it's true because. Yes, thank you so much. Yes. Anybody else who want to say anything? Elizabeth, do you want to add to that finally? Then we'll move on. So that's just about what? That is just about labor in terms of what the basis of the remuneration. Most of the time, the calculation that we are going to be doing is not going to be on. Sometimes you see fixed, but most of the time it's either going to be output or it's going to be on what? On hourly. So another very important thing, which is part of our syllabus, and if we look at the old study text, please try as much as possible to know what is the advantage and disadvantage of output, advantage and disadvantage of what? Of hour. Please don't forget that, and it's true. Don't worry, a note will be shared and what you have an understanding of it. So the last aspect before we go to what we have for today.
Sorry, please say it again. You said advantages and disadvantages of what?
Yeah, the advantage and disadvantage of output based and hourly basis. Or sometimes we call it time based. They don't call it hourly rate, they can call it time. So what's the advantage of the output base? What's the advantage and disadvantage of output? Advantage and disadvantage of what? Using what time to remunerate your labor. So the final thing on the general overview that we do is on overhead. Overhead. So when we say overhead, let me try to explain it in a better way. When I say overhead, let me use I've been seconded to one organization whereby they have they have like a restaurant within their building, but is outsourced. So meaning that they outsource it to some certain company. I can't remember their name. So, but what these companies usually do, or let me come from that example. They used to give us 800, whether you are a contractor or you are their permanent employee. They will give us 800 naira. So meaning that if I want to go for a lunch now, I know that there's already 800. that what the company will give me. They will just give us a paper. And the paper contain what? It contains 800. So meaning that, for example, now, if I purchase any item that is greater than what? That is greater than 800, I will pay the difference. Let's say, for example, now, I went for a lunch and the total cost is what? Let's say 15. So meaning that what now, once I present the ticket to them, I'm only going to pay the word. I'm only going to pay 700 naira. So there's a word. There's like incentive to what? To everybody. Whether you are you are a full-time employee or you are just a consultant to them, everybody is entitled to this to this 800. That is one example. Some organization have a canteen in your office, whereby once it is lunch, just go there and eat. Let's now say, for example, in the month of June, the total canteen cost is what? Is 7 million. Now, this is like a what now? Like an overhead. What we are now going to be looking at in overhead is how do we apportion it? Let me not use that word. How do we spread it across what? Various departments. For the month of June, the canteen cost is what? Is 7 million. And let me use as an example. Let's say in this organization, let me see it from my word, from accounting firm background. We have audit department. We have what? Advisory. We also have what? Tax. And number 4, we have what? Central service. And the total canteen cost for the month of what? For the month of June is 7 million. And I want to ask a question now. How do you think we should spread this cost among the what? Among these 4 departments? Perry, your hand is up. Do you want to say something, please?
Yeah, from my own point of view, I think the cost of the canteen cost should be split across the 4 departments in terms of the number of employees in each of the departments.
All right, now thank you so much. Solution 1, number of employees. Another word. I need. Please raise up your hand. I just need what? Just give me the basis. What do you think? What do you think? How should we spread this 7 million across this?
Based
on Mr. Rufai, your hand is off. What basis do you think we should use?
No, actually, my colleague has already said that is number of employees. Then we have to look at the number of employees of each department so that for it will be able to maybe distribute the 7 million naira for it.
All right, now thanks so much. I appreciate that. Luis, your hand is up. What do you have? What basis do you think? How do you think we should spread it? Please unmute yourself.
it can be spread based on the consumption of power in the department.
No, this one is food, though. No, it's not. Thank you so much. It seems you have an idea about overhead. This one is not power. If it is power, I can use based on consumption. That this particular you use what so numbers of kilowatt, but this one is food. How do you think we should spread it? Someone else, think of it now. Some of us, your organization have this.
Either the senior colleagues, maybe like the hierarchy. Sure.
Khadija, the hierarchy as well. Please think of it. Because I know some of us here, your organization have this thing. So how do you think we should spread it? Or let me even take it from organization level. Okay, Perry, your hand is up again. Do you have any other suggestion?
An idea from what my colleague just said. She said hierarchy. Now, like in my organization, what they do is in terms of ranking. So the junior cadre gets a lower amount of canteen costs, while the middle management and higher management get a higher percentage of it.
Okay. Based on hierarchy. Okay. What else again? Anybody? Thank you so much. And this is the first time I'll hear something like that too, to be honest. Okay,
based on
anybody?
hierarchy too, but meals consumed.
Okay, if
Based
you say okay, if you say meal consume, is there a way I can measure the word? Is there a
and
way that
you could have 5 people in audit that eat more than 10 people in customer
advice?
service.
Oh, please don't go yet. How am I going to determine that?
I think companies will have dockets. So the more dockets you actually drop to get food, I think there's a record there that shows that audit department, the 5 people in audit have dropped more dockets. Maybe they take lunch, they take more than one plate. One person takes more than a plate, and that way audit could actually record more than customer service that has more staff. So I'm thinking meals consumed could also be another way we can use to share overheads.
Do you have like a practical scenario of that you can share? Because I'm still looking. Someone tried to make mention of consumption, but I was like, how? Due to food. Is there a way we can know?
Like a company, like you said, rightly said now, a company, different departments, and they have a canteen.
Yeah.
Audit has 5 employees.
Yes.
Tax department has 10. Then customer service also has 10.
Yeah.
Now, it's possible that tax department, 10 people could just take 10 plates. That's 1 per person. Now, the 5 people in audit, 3 of them decide to take more than, maybe they have guests as well, and they will take like 3 plates each, and that's basically 9 already for just 3 people. Then when the other 2 people comes, now they could take 2 each, and that's already 13. And that department has only 5 people compared to the tax department that has 10, and they've taken 10, 10 plates for just 10 of them. So when you're actually trying to spread the cost, you may have to, if you do it equally, it means you're going to shortchange tax, because audits actually have fewer people, but they've taken more than the tax department.
And the manual process work in that way? Do you think manual process can a manual process work to capture the consumption in that situation?
It could, if the company is not too large, because when it's too large, that's when the capturing becomes a problem. But if it's not too large, it's just the person or the canteen person to take note of how many plates a department at a point in time, maybe on a day.
Okay. Thank you so much. I think I understand it better now. Thank you so much. I do appreciate that. Anybody else? Consumption, yeah. It's fitting in a small company. Anybody? What do you think? We have hierarchy. We also have what? Someone also make mention of consumption now. So what else again? Anybody think of it now? Or let's say, for example, now you have a driver, and the driver is going to drop your son, and to also drop your daughter. Your son and your daughter are not attending the same school. Your son, let's say, is in secondary school, and your daughter is in what? Is in primary school. And the fuel consumption is 7 million. How do you think you can apportion it? Let's say everything, because the driver is not taking you, is not taking your husband. The work of that driver is just to what? Pick your son and your daughter, pick them and drop them. That's just what the driver is doing. So let's now say the salary cost of the driver and the what? And the fuel for the month of June now is 7 million. How do you think you can apportion it between your what? Your son and your daughter? Anybody? Someone should try now. Oh, see, your hand is up. How do you think you can do it?
I think
We
it's
have
based on
Yes,
the
on that
distance
ground, you
covered.
okay. Yes.
Okay, Mr. Saving, hold on. See, please go ahead. Let me hear from you.
Okay, so I think it's based on the distance covered. If whoever that is going far, you apply more cost to them,
Okay.
rather than the other. Yes.
All right, that's
I'll
fine.
just say based on distance.
All right now, Mr. Steven, what do you have? How do you think we can spread that?
Yeah, that is what I wanted to say. You
All right,
consider
now
the distance covered.
okay, let me now take thank you so much, and thanks to everyone. I do appreciate that. So when it now comes to this word overhead apportionment, when we come to spreading of this overhead cost, there are two methods that we can use. There's what we call traditional method, and there's also what we call modern method, which sometimes we call it the word ABC. Activities-based costing. Like, to be honest with you, so meaning that this overhead topic is divided into these two. We have the traditional method and we also have the modern method. If you want to apportion costs using traditional method, you are going to use, if it is this canteen that we are talking about, the basis that we are going to use is the number of employees. Traditional method. If I want to apportion this canteen cost, it's based on the numbers of employees. That is the solution. If you are using traditional method of overhead apportionment, we use numbers of employees to apportion it. If audit have more employee, they will take more. If advisory have more than tax, they will take more. If central service have more than tax, so based on the numbers of employee in each of these units, that is going to be the basis under traditional method. And I want to ask now, is there a limitation to that? I don't know. Is there a limitation to that? This part, go ahead. Thanks so much.
Okay. Again, from my point of view, I'd say there's actually a limitation because if we say we want to apportion based on the number of employees, then there might be some departments that have fewer employees but produce more outputs and contribute more to the growth of the organization than the department with more employees.
Yeah, thank you so much. Anybody else? See, please, unmute yourself, please.
No, it's same. It's same.
Yeah. So thank you so much. There's a limitation to it. Let me tell you something. And just like what our colleague mentioned, at least from where I'm coming from, audit have more employee than any other unit. But audits, those in audit, they are not usually in office. They usually at the client's office. So if you can see now, there will be a problem if you are giving more to audit due to the fact that they have more employee. But are they actually in office? No. Let's say, for example, that in my own organization, at least currently where I am, let's say in FP&A, for example, now. In FP&A, we are like, how many, sir? It should be close to, I think we are like 24. So now, if you are not saying that word in final, those in the FP&A, they are like, we are close to 24. Then you are not giving us more cost as a result of what? As a result of the number. But the fact is that from the beginning of this year to now, I've only went to office once. And that's last week, Wednesday. So if they are not apportioning more cost to my department due to the number, but do we actually be in office most of the time? At least based on our own policy, you only need to work just come to office once in a week. But I have not been there for a while because I think my line manager is very, very what. He doesn't care. Just get your work done. He doesn't care whether you come to the office or not. So as a result of the limitation of the traditional method, okay, let's now provide a solution. What do you now think is the best way to spread this now? At least everybody agree that there's a limitation to that. What do you think is not the best? Can someone raise up your hand, please? Is a problem now. So please, what do you think is the solution? Someone should think of it now. Say, please unmute yourself. What do you have? What do you think is the solution to it?
Going from what I've learned now, you said there are two types of overhead costs, traditional and ABC method. So if because of the disadvantage of the traditional cost, I would say that the way to solve it is to do the activity based. And for me, it feels all around good. Based on what the activity of the department may be, then you give costs to that department and not letting other departments be overburdened just because of the number of employees in the department.
Yeah. Thank you so much. Thanks so much. That's just saying, to be honest. It should be based on the activities. It should be based on consumption. My last question, I'm sorry. What are some of the tools that we can now use to solve the problem? What do you think from IT perspective? What do you think we should use? One of the things that we should use is the what? Is the log. Meaning that what everybody must clock in. There should be like a what? There should be like you can do like a man trap door. Man trap door means that okay, someone once you go, two people cannot go at the same time. And for you to go, he has to clock in, then the door will open, and you go. So by through that process, I'll be able to have the lock. And once I have the lock, I'll be able to do what? From that lock, I'll be able to use it because I will know your department. Let me show you one data. Just hold on. I think I should have it. Just hold on. Give me some few seconds.
Sorry, what did you call it? Man what?
Man trap. Just like in what? In bank now. There are some bank now whereby at a word is one individual at a time. You can't what? Two people cannot go. So let me show you this particular word. Okay, let me bring my screen here. Please, can someone see this Excel sheet? Can you guys see the Excel sheet?
Yes, sir.
All right, now so let's make it real now. So you see, this is a what here. This is certain data now. You can see you have the departments. So if I want to spread this cost, now, let's say I have canteen. Let's use this as a canteen now of what? Of 7 million. And the way I want to resolve this problem is that everybody should clock in. So there's going to be a lock. So let's say this is like the lock now. It will show me the cost center that you are. So this particular one, this is an employee number. You can say personnel number. So if you clock in, I know your ID. That these are the words. This is one employee, this is another employee, this is another employee. So through this word now, through this, I know your department, this is a cost center now. And I know the word, I know the employee number. So meaning now that on this particular date, which is what now? The 3rd of June, you went to the canteen. So there's going to be a predetermined rate in terms of what? This is a predetermined rate. I can say that once you visit the canteen, it should be what? This is the word, a predetermined rate. I can say this is a predetermined rate. So my predetermined rate, at least someone make mention of something earlier, like hierarchy. Like, oh, if you are a leader, this is the rate. If you're a principal specialist, this is the rate I'm going to charge you. If you're a specialist, this is the rate. If you're a strategic leader, this is the rate. So you can see now from this data, I will not just give you what? I will not just give this particular department any cost. It will be based on consumption. It is an activity. If this employee, if you did not what? If you did not visit the canteen on this particular date, there's no what? There's not going to be any record for it. So you can see now that this one will be more what? It will be more fair. So if I recharge a certain cost to some certain department now, the head of this department will not just ask me that, oh, Wasu, you recharge this also cost to my department. Why? I can show the head of the department that, oh, your what? Your boys are actually in the canteen. Do you guys get what I'm trying to say? Hello, class. Hello?
Yes, we do.
So this is another way of what? Of solving some of these words, some of these problems. And I can remember, because majority of my career, I spent it in a consulting environment. There was a particular secondment I was in. It's in one big law firm in Lagos. But then I was still doing my IT. So there's a particular course that, this particular law firm, they have what? They have litigation, they have commercial service, they have corporate service, they have intellectual property. There are like 6 units within that organization. But there's a certain particular course that they are giving to the corporate, and based on the activities that the corporate is doing, they will not use that. They can't use it at all. But at the end of the day, it was charged to them. Why? Because they have more employees. So I was telling my manager then that, okay, this course should not go to this particular unit. And it was like, because as a consultant, and if you tell organization that, oh, do it this way, their end product result is that what? Oh, these people, they want to collect more money. But it is not fair. But you can see this process now. This is the data now. You can see it is more fair than just what saying that, oh, because you have more employee, I will give your department. No, it shouldn't be. Sandra, you said please explain WAC. Is it here?
Weighted average.
Yeah. So financial management. Okay, weighted average cost. So do you guys understand why we move on? I think the time is almost 9 o'clock, sir. So any question? So that is the way activities-based costing work. And activities-based costing is based on the idea of 2 things. There's what we call cost pool, and there's what we call cost driver. So activities-based costing is based on these 2 principles, cost pool and what? Cost driver. So from the word cost driver, can I ask, can someone try? When we say cost driver, what are we referring to? Anybody? From the word driver. And someone should say something. When we say cost driver, what do you think we're referring to? Esther, please unmute yourself. Thanks.
So I think when we say cost driver, activity cost driver is what we spent the money on, like what was the activity, what was the production that drove us into spending this amount of money.
All right, thank you so much. Per, your hand is up as well. Please unmute yourself. Let me hear from you. When we say cost driver,
say something similar, like those activities that causes or pushes the organizational cost higher at every given time.
All right, thank you so much. I like that word higher. Zainab, say something as well. Let me hear. What is it? Cost driver.
Okay, so I think it means the main reason why a cost is being incurred.
Right, now I think that's coordinate with what Esther is saying. So when we say something is cost driver is any activities that can make your cost to increase or decrease. But most of the time, it will go up. Just like what the second speaker said. Please just note it down. When we say cost driver is any activities that can what? That can make your cost to what? To increase or to decrease. You spend let's say 5 naira now. It is based on certain activities. If the activities increase, the cost will also what? The cost will also increase. So cost driver is any factors that can cause your cost to increase. Cost driver is any activities that can cause your cost to increase. Most time it is increase, but some few, let's say like 1%, it can drop as well. So that is what we call cost driver. Anything that can cause your cost to increase. When we now say cost pool, let's end it here. When we say cost pool, what does cost pool mean? Anybody? When we say cost pool, what does cost pool mean? From the word pool. Let me have you guys ministry. So this one is just like a grouping of course. Like for example now, look at this particular sheet. This, you see this 40650. Let me zoom it. You see this 40650. This is the cost element. The cost element is like, it's like the ledger. If it is from financial accounting perspective, it's like your what? That your GL. You know, some of us in your organization and maybe your cash book, it may be 00005. So all these costs now, it will go to this particular ledger. You can see the number is the same, irregardless of the employee. All your costs, like all your counting, it will go to this particular number. You can see just one number, 4650. And it will go to this particular, this is a cost center. This is like the department. And this is like the GL. This is the employee. And this is the hour. This one, I think this one use maybe something about 2 hours or something. So that is what, when we say cost pool is like what you grouping the cost together. So then that is that. I think so. We also have what various costing method, like we have what we call job costing, batch costing, process costing. We also have what we call service costing. And if you remember earlier, I think I made mention that, okay, Zainab, your hand is up. What's your question, please?
Yeah, in cost pool. So when you're saying that we are grouping costs, is it going to be based on the type of cost, or like when we talk about organization, is it going to be based on costs from various organizations, like different organizations, or what exactly?
No, our own organization. It's not various organization. Your own organization. So like
I meant various departments, right?
No, various departments. And yes, we can put it in as various departments. But you see, irregardless of whether it is what this department, once it relates to canteen, it will go to this word. It will go to this. I can download another data now for the entire organization. You know, this one is like what? You just sorting that, oh, I want to see this department alone. So, but the whole of canteen will go to this particular GL, this cost element. I'm addressing your question.
Yes, thank you.
So everything that relates with canteen, whether it is what people in audit, people in TARS, people in advisory, the central service, everything will go to 4650. So I can download the word 4650 ledger now. It will show me everybody. Then I can now filter that, oh, I only want to see this this department. I only want to see audit. I only want to see what advisory. So that is the pool that you are just grouping in the word. You are grouping it together. See, your hand is up. What's your question, please?
I'm struggling to still understand. Is it like what's the basis for cost pooling? Is it to look at a particular cost center, or like
You know, the pooling, no, don't worry. The pooling is just like you grouping everything together. You grouping everything together. That you had everything together. Let's say, for example, now, I can group fuel now. Let's say, for example, you have your own car. Your husband also have your own car. There's another car that is taking your children to school. So you can say now that for the whole of June, the cost of fuel is what? Is 500,000. So from that 500,000, you have grouped it together now. The fuel, the one that your own personal car consume, the other member of the family consume as well. But so far that it relates to what? To fuel, we'll group it together. So when you are now grouping all your expenditure relating to fuel, that is what we call cost pool. And I can remember some time ago, I stay in Maryland, and from Maryland to VI there, maybe some of us in Lagos, then it used to be 500 naira. And now I don't know the price anymore, shall So I can let's say for example now, if I withdraw now, I can group it together. Oh, this one relates to what? This one relates to fuel. This one is for me to go to office. Or this one relates to me going to a client office. So far that it relates to what? To transportation, whether it's to what? To office or it's not to what? To office. So if I group everything together, that this is my transport cost for the month of what? For the month of June. That is what we call cost. I group them together. Once you now group them together, you can now further segregate it. That out of what? 60,000 for what? For transport. Let's say 40,000 is to what? Is to office. Then the remaining 20,000 naira is for what? For non-office related. I hope everybody understand that pool now. Yes, can I hear from the class, please?
Yes, thank you.
All right, now so we have we'll be looking at what is what we call job costing. This time, okay, it's almost 9. So we have what we call what? We have what we call job costing. We also have what we call BASH, that is costing method. So when we say job costing is when you are if I want to cost individual products, individual products, that is what we call what? Job costing. If I want to cost individual products, that is job. But when we now say BASH, in a job costing, the items are not identical. The items are different. Like you can see now, most of the politicians they have started campaigning for what? For 2027. So let's say, for example, now we now have a printing press that this political party can give that they will use one picture for one, they will also use another picture for another one. So far that the picture is the same, that is like a job costing. A job costing, the product is what? Is not what? Is different. Let me just put it that word. Is different. Size 10 can be different from what? From size 11. Size 11 can be different from what? From size 12. So the costing that you are going to use in when something like that occurs, that you are producing different item. The way you produce size 11, it will be different from the way you produce 12. It will be different from the way you produce size 35. The costing method that you're going to use is what we call job costing. But when size 11 is the same thing as what size 12, for example, now I can produce 500 units of size 11. All those 500 units will be the same. I'm producing size 11. So size 11 now, all the 500 units will be what? It will be the same. The costing method I'm going to use is what we call batch costing. But if I'm producing size 11 and the 500 will be different, then we are going to use what? Job costing. Don't forget, I'm producing 500. But the 500 is what is size 11. But the design of each of the 500 will vary. Let's say I'm just producing like 20. But the way I produce A will be different from the way I produce B. It will be different from the way you produce C. then the costing method that you're going to use is what we call job costing. But if the whole of that 500, the whole of that 20 of size 11, they are the same, then which costing method are you going to use? You are going to use a what? A batch costing. And batch costing also have some similarity with what? With process costing. And in process costing, what process costing is that for you to produce size 11 is not through one process. It will pass it through different stages. It can go from stage 1, it will go to stage 2, it will go to stage 3. Maybe it will not get to what? To stage 4 before it becomes a final product. That is what we call process costing. That is, the output is not completed at a go. And you have what? Different process. You can have process A, you can have process 2, you can have process 3. So the output of process 1, it will be the input of process 2. The output of process 2, it will be the input of what? Of process 3. That is what we call process costing. That is, the output is not completed at a go. It will pass it through different stages. But in a batch costing, I can complete it at a go. Someone will start it, one department will start it, and one department will finish it. So under job and batch, one department can start it and one department will finish it. But in process costing, no. If this particular department, you do your own, you pass it to another department, then department B will pass it to C, then C will pass it to what? To D, before it now become a finished product. I hope that is fine, class. Then we have the last one to what we call what? Service costing. So we have what? We have different types of what? This is a costing that is applicable in a service environment. Service environment like what? Transport. Like what? Even the banking is there. The what? We also have hospital is also there. Even the what? The IT department is also there. Because the IT department, they are service department. So their cost is usually recharged to other departments. Like, for example, now, why do you think that, let's say, for example, now, you have some technical challenges with your laptop or something is coming up. You now go to the IT department and they create a ticket for you. What do you think is the reason why the IT department created a ticket?
Costing purpose.
It's for what? It's for costing purpose. Because the IT people, they will remunerate them. So at the end of the day, the total cost of the IT department, we are still going to recharge it to other units. So if the cost is what is 10,000, through that ticket, because the ticket will come on, your details is there. Oh, no, they'll call which department are you? Oh, I'm in what? 50022. That is my own department number. So they know my details already. So if they want to do the costing, the total cost of IT is 5,000 naira, they will spread it based on the service that they have performed to each of the employee at different departments. So we'll be looking at the costing that we use in the service environment. We'll also be looking at what? Costing technique. And there are basically two types of costing technique. We have what we call marginal, and we also have what we call absorption. So when we say costing technique, we have what? Just these two. Just note it down. We'll be talking about each of them one after the other. So costing technique is what? We have absorption costing, and we also have the marginal costing. So we also have what? Forecast, budget, and budgetary. And as a management accountant, this is your work. Your work is more on budgeting. And once you have forecast, you have budget, at the end of the day, it will lead to what we call what? Variance analysis. It will lead to what? To variance analysis. Because once you have budget, you have actual. So I think I'm coming. Let me show you guys some data. Because that's the last one. Just sorry, it's already 7 minutes to the end of the class. I think I have one sample that I can show you. Okay, I've deleted these all these names. Hold on. So as a word, you have a word, you have a budget that, oh, this is what we want to do, word. This is what our words. Please hold on. Let me just to have a view of the way what it look like. So, like for example, I can have a word, and I just to show you what a summary of it. I can have a word now, a certain data that will show that okay, this is like. Let me share my screen. Hold on. I can have a budget now that will show that, okay, this is my word, my budgeted from year to date. This is what I have year to date. I have my budget already. This is my word, my variance year to date. So you can see that the variance is what now? Is cool. So once you have budget, I have my word, I have my budget already. I will do the work as the budget is what is going on. I'll be doing some forecast. Now, oh, maybe in what? This is the end of what of Q. I think we are entering already from January to June. So maybe from July to what now? I can do some forecast relating with the line manager. Oh, is there any expenditure that you are likely to spend? So budget. And once you have a budget, you also need to make sure that you have some budgetary control. Budgetary control is to make sure that what you keep to your budget. So in this particular example that you're looking at now, it means that, oh, the year-to-date variance is what? Is 5.8 million, which is what? Favorable. It means that it is good. So why do you need to have a what? How do you maintain this 5.8 at this particular time? It's because of what? Is budgetary control. And sometimes it's not budgetary control. So we'll be looking at what are some of the things that you can do to make sure that you keep to budget. Then we'll be doing variance, just like what after budget, you compare your budget with your actual, then the final thing that you end up is your variance. Just like you can see now, my year to date is what is 32. My budget is what now? I budget 38 as at this particular period, and I'll spend what 32 now. So what is my variance? My variance is what now? Is favorable what variance, and that's what we'll be talking about. So I think that is all for now. I'll send the word, I'll send the syllabus, then I'll send this to. We'll be looking at it in our next class, but at least the purpose of today's class is just for you to have words. At least you know a little bit of some of the things that we are going to talk about. And it's a very interesting stuff, to be honest. You enjoy it. So by next class, we'll be looking at some of these words, introduction aspect, the nature and the purpose of word, management information. So is there any questions so far? I'm sorry, I think it's already 10 minutes of this normal time. You guys have to go up tomorrow. Is there any question? So if there's not any question, thank you everyone. And thanks for participating as well. I really appreciate that. So I think let's go. See you and enjoy your weekend.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, everyone.
Yeah, thank you everyone. Thank you everyone. Bye.
Thank you. Good night.
Oh, someone, Mr. Dabilare, your hand is up. Do you want to ask a question? Okay, no problem.
Yes, I want to ask a question.
Okay,
not
go
really
ahead.
Question are you going to share material with us or something?
Yes, I'm sending it now. You see it.
All right.
All right.
Thank you.
Yeah, right. So thank you everyone. Or I'll send it now.
Thank you, sir.
Yeah, thank you everyone.
Thank you, sir.